In a small, mist-covered village nestled deep within the mountains of ancient China, there lived a young woman named Chou Po. Born with features that the villagers deemed unattractive, Chou Po was shunned and ridiculed throughout her life. Her kind heart was overshadowed by the cruelty of those around her, and the constant mockery drove her into a deep sadness. Chou Po lived alone in a dilapidated hut at the edge of the village, where the forest crept close, its dark branches like the fingers of the night. The villagers would often taunt her as she passed by, calling her names and throwing stones. She was met with laughter and scorn despite her attempts to befriend them. Chou Po's only solace was the forest, where she would wander alone, speaking to the trees and the animals that seemed to understand her pain. One day, a traveling scholar arrived in the village. He was different from the others, kind and gentle. He notices Chou Po's kindness and develops friendships with her. For the first time, Chou Po felt the warmth of companionship. However, the village leader's daughter, Mei Ling, who was known for her beauty, became jealous of the attention Chou Po received from the scholar. Determined to rid herself of Chou Po, Mei Ling devised a cruel plan. She spread false rumors that Chou Po was a witch, cursed by the gods to bring misfortune to the village. Villagers, already suspicious of Chou Po due to her appearance, quickly turned against her. They dragged her to the village square and demanded that she be exiled or killed. The scholar tried to defend Chou Po, but the villagers were relentless. In a final act of cruelty, they set fire to her hut, forcing her inside. Chou Po, heartbroken and betrayed, perished in the flames. As she died, she cursed the village, vowing that her spirit would return to exact vengeance on those who wronged her. Years passed, and the village seemed to forget about Chou Po. But one night, a dense fog rolled in, thicker than any the villagers had seen before. Strange things began to happen. Shadows moved on their own, whispers filled the air, and a sense of dread hung over the village. One by one, the villagers who had tormented Chou Po began to experience terrifying vision. They would see her ghostly figure, her face twisted in sorrow and rage, appearing in mirrors and reflections. The village leader's daughter, Mei Ling, was the first to encounter Chou Po's ghost. She saw Chou Po's face in the mirror, her eyes filled with sorrow, her mouth twisted into a sinister smile. Mei Ling screamed, but no sound came out. The next morning, she was found in her room, her face contorted in fear. Her hair turned white overnight. The scholar, racked with guilt, turned to the village to find it in disarray. He sought out Chou Po's ghost in the forest, pleading for forgiveness. Chou Po's spirit appeared before him, her once kind eyes now filled with the pain of betrayal. She told him that she would only find peace if the villagers acknowledged their wrongs, atoned for their sins. The scholar returned to the village and gathered the remaining villagers, urging them to confess their sins and seek forgiveness from Chou Po's spirit. Terrified, they complied, holding a ceremony in the forest where Chou Po had once found solace. As they prayed, Chou Po's ghost appeared, her form less twisted, her sorrow evident. But for Mei Ling, who had never truly repented, Chou Po had a special punishment. She would be cursed to live out her days as Chou Po had lived, scorned, lonely, and shunned, a reminder of the cruelty she had inflicted. As the villagers watched in horror, Mei Ling's beauty faded, face becoming disfigured and ugly. Chou Po's spirit, finally avenged, faded into the mist, leaving behind a village forever haunted by the memory of their The village was never the same. The mist never fully lifted, and the once lively village became a ghost town.
The story of Chou Po, known as the Ugly Woman Ghost, is a haunting legend that speaks about the themes of beauty, cruelty, and the consequences of societal judgment. The story of Chou Po is believed to originate from a small, isolated village in ancient China, where traditional values and superstitions held significant sway over the lives of the villagers. During this time, physical appearance was often linked to one's worth. Those who did not conform to societal standards of beauty were often ostracized. The legend of Chou Po is a poignant reflection of the harsh realities faced by those who were deemed unattractive or different. Chou Po was a young woman born with features that did not fit the conventional standards of beauty in her village. She lived a life of solitude, shunned and ridiculed by those around her. Despite her kind and gentle nature, she was subjected to relentless mockery and cruelty, which left her emotionally scarred. The villagers' treatment of Chou Po reflects the darker side of human nature, where fear and prejudice often lead to the unjust persecution of the innocent. The story takes a tragic turn when Chou Po, in a rare moment of happiness, befriends a traveling scholar who sees beyond her appearance. However, this friendship stirs jealousy in Mei Ling, the village leader's beautiful daughter. Mei Ling's envy leads her to spread malicious rumors about Chou Po, accusing her of being a witch. Villagers, already predisposed to fear and distrust Chou Po due to her appearance, quickly turn against her. This moment in the story highlights how easily fear and envy can lead to the destruction of an innocent life. The villagers' cruelty culminates in a horrific act of violence. They set fire to Chou Po's home, forcing her inside, where she perishes in the flames. In her final moments, Chou Po curses the village, vowing to return and seek revenge on those who wronged her. This moment of transformation is significant, as it marks the transition of Chou Po from a victim of cruelty to a vengeful spirit, embodying the anger and sorrow of a life unjustly taken. Years after Chou Po's death, the village begins to experience strange and terrifying occurrences. A dense fog envelops the village, and the once lively streets become eerily silent. The villagers start seeing Chou Po's ghostly figure in mirrors and shadows, her face twisted in sorrow and rage. These hauntings are not just acts of revenge, but also serve as a reminder of the consequences of cruelty and the lasting impact of unjust action. The story of Chou Po serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of superficial judgments and the importance of kindness and compassion. It reflects the belief that the soul's suffering can transcend death, returning as a force that demands recognition and justice. The villagers' eventual repentance and the transformation of Mei Ling from a figure of beauty to one of ugliness serve as powerful reminders that true beauty lies within, and that cruelty has lasting consequences. The legend of Chou Po has been passed down through generations, serving as a moral lesson in Chinese folklore. It has been retold in various forms, from oral traditions to written stories, and has inspired numerous adaptations in literature, theater, and film. The story resonates with audiences because it touches on universal themes of acceptance, the consequences of cruelty, and the idea that everyone, regardless of appearance, deserves kindness and respect. The tale of Chou Po, the Ugly Woman Ghost, remains a powerful narrative within Chinese folklore. It reminds us of the dangers of judging others based on appearance and the importance of compassion in a world that can often be harsh and unforgiving. Chou Po's story is not just a ghost story, but a reflection of the deep human need for understanding and the desire for justice in the face of cruelty.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.